Hey guys, Trevor Holt here. It's 31st of August 2025, the last day of winter. It's a beautiful day here on a Sunday in southeast Queensland. From a couple of very windy, cold, wintry days just prior. So as usual guys, I'm doing my Sunday walk through some of the beautiful areas that we have free to enjoy in our local area. This one's in Ipswich, Kylo. It's about a 6 kilometre walk, and it's good to get outdoors, get your blood flowing, get exercises and connect with nature. It helps with your overall health and well-being, and creates positive outcomes in your life, guys. So I want to try and encourage everyone to get out there and get your blood flowing, get your muscles moving, get out in the outdoors, and enjoy nature. There's no better feeling, especially in the beautiful days like today. So guys, I know a lot of people in Brisbane today. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of issues surrounding net zero policies, I suppose, and farmers, with transitions lines and batteries or whatever going on private property and private property rights. A lot of issues around them. A lot of issues around immigration at the moment. And homelessness of Australians, the cost of living crisis, which includes abilities for many Australians to afford their rental accommodation or even find rental accommodation in these areas. So there's a lot going on. A lot of rallies in Brisbane today. I chose not to go. I got enough going on in my life that I'm trying to deal with, and I'm focused on currently a few issues that I'm working with my clients, and that revolves around the National Fire Ant Eradication Program. So guys, I pray for peaceful resolve in these protesters, and hope everyone gets to have their say, and I hope even more importantly that the decision makers and people of power are listening, and good outcomes are achieved by rallying. And I'd also like to thank everyone that goes into the city today, regardless of the cause that you're going for. Thank you for taking the time and a voice for the Pacific campaign that you're advocating for. And it's good to see healthy debates around a lot of these issues. So it's important, though, with all this going on, cost of crisis living and all these other things, that we work within our circle of influence. Sometimes we can get overwhelmed with some of these issues, and especially when a lot of these issues are sort of out of our control as individuals and more rely upon government management. A lot of the issues people are facing are a direct result of government decisions. But it's important to understand what it is we can control and what's out of our control. So we can control our own behaviours, we can control our own emotions, we can control our own perspectives and the way we choose to communicate them. I promote a non-violent approach to anything that we do, and I encourage everyone to remain peaceful and use words. I know it's hard. I myself was assaulted twice by police who forced entry into my private property and forced chemicals onto my property, and it's very hard sometimes in that moment to allow yourself to be trespassed upon, which I was, and I was tackled to the ground and handcuffed and arrested in my own backyard because I didn't want toxic chemicals distributed where there were no fire ants. I forgive all those that trespassed against me, and I work towards creating better outcomes for the future for people, not just for me, my community, and not just for today, for tomorrow as well. Privacy is important, so I fight for fundamental human rights, private property rights, and individual choice, especially when it becomes to exposure to toxic chemicals. And a lot of these values align with a lot of these other causes, especially the net zero causes, where people's private property and privacy has been invaded through these assets required for the net zero installations are going on around the place. So I really feel the government needs to make a bit better effort, and the inquiries found from the COVID days to put more weight on individual human rights, and that's what we're moving forward towards today, guys. So in regards to the National Fire Ant Eradication Program and what's going on there, we're putting a lot of pressure on there. I released my 20-minute video not long ago addressing the ABC's Reckless article about me being a conspiracy theorist regarding the fact that I was actually doing science with a renowned university, Southern Cross University. I've been working with Central Florida University now for over 12 months, and with my hot water treatment method. It's actually licensed through the University of Central Florida and supported by Dr. Joshua King and his biology team there. We're looking at creating better efficiencies, or looking at creating cost efficiencies there, both with the operational side of things and the construction and implementation of the build. So we're looking at different things there, and exciting news next week, I suppose, when we can show a dual lance setup. So we're getting the machine retrofitted out to have the ability to have two operators working off the one machine. Obviously, we're going to also create longer hoses. So we're going to have 50 metres of hose either side of the trailer, plus 50 metres of extension. So that's a 100-metre radius we can treat. But I suppose we can put two extensions together and do 150 metres from the trailer on some applications. In addition, we're looking at putting it on tracks. We're looking at making a dingo type solution, a small movable application where we can get into hard to reach spots and in behind properties and this and that to treat fire ants, which could be more beneficial as we start working more with the residential properties and move away from the acreage properties we've been managing. So there's a lot of good things coming on and going on there in relation to the hot water system. We had a lot of success. We're trying to get more money for more research. It's very difficult to see the National Fire Ant Eradication Program accepting this technology. They've lied about it. They've proven to be misrepresenting the effectiveness of this treatment, and they've done that now for the whole 12 months. So it's very difficult to see them changing their tune on that, but I'm going to keep advocating for them to do that and creating more choice for people who have fire ants. And instead of using government policies to march over people's rights, we want to try and shift it to more commercial operators and individual choice of individual properties to treat their property the way they choose. And I see the best approach for that is subsidies for homeowners in heavily infested fire areas through an application process based on needs. But yeah, we keep pushing forward. The big news last week was GMOs. We've known about this and raised this with the Department of Primary Industries before. Over the last 12 months, the GMOs in the soya oil and corn grit. And last week they acknowledged that does breach organic registration and the standards in Australia. And I suppose it's positive news that they've admitted that and they suspended all the organic treatment. But I know a lot of people that were very upset with the forced treatment of their organic farm with these corn grits, and it was related to not just the GMOs but also the pesticides that are in it, the S-methoprene. So the withholding period on organic farms from S-methoprene was changed from 12 months to 3 weeks, just so this program can do it, do the prophylactic treatment. But now that the corn grit and the soya oil has been confirmed as being GMO, then they suspended all organic treatment. So yeah, so we're still trying to work out how best to utilise that. In Australia, you can domestically be an organic producer without requiring accreditation certification. So there are some standards that you can work with and to be an organic operator. They are looking at that, and maybe that may change in the future, but we're looking at what we can do to creep into that space, and there's a few options that we're pursuing, and hopefully we can have some good news on this in the coming days. I do note, however, with great concern that the ABC has reported on people trying to redefine what a genetically modified object is, organism is, and trying to change the definition. So if they're minusing from the DNA, that it's not modified, and only if they're adding stuff. So there's probably, and talking to some of the organic guys from these organisations, and that's probably another big campaign in there about the actual being aware what individuals and people are being exposed to in regards to genetically modified materials, because at the moment the regulations is quite lacking there. So that's probably another campaign in the future. So we're just working with that at the moment. So we're still going strong. We're looking at releasing some more videos and doing some more stuff in the campaign. I'm moving forward to try and find some more partners in research and contributions. I started the Truth Tour, so if you've got a community group, I've got some slides made up. I'm going to talk about the campaign, talk about briefly the criminal charges against me. I've been charged with obstructing police on my own property, and talk about that process. Go back to court again on the 15th of September, so that's not too far now. I've actually been working with Peter Pham, human rights lawyer. He done up a brief to give some and send off to, I think, 3 or 4 different barristers in the area to have a look at. We've got one quote back now. You know, they're talking about five to $7.5 or whatever for the barristers to have a look and advise on whether the defence that we're pursuing is adequate and defendable, and also maybe advise on, if not, what other possible directions we need to go in. So we're looking at that. We're just trying to see what costs are available, but it was estimated by Peter Pham we need at least 10 grand to get to that stage where we know where we're at and get all the quotes and that in. So I don't know if people are supportive of my campaign in regards to that criminal matter, then feel free to reach out if you feel you can help and support financially to cover some of them legal costs. In general, we feel it's the police behaving in this way that's empowering the National Fire Ant Eradication Program to not consider reasonable excuses, to ignore reasonable excuses, and to force entry onto properties without the police support. We don't believe that would be necessary or won't be achievable. So and the advice that we've got is police don't have the authority to enter private property to keep the peace without a warrant, but that's what they're acting under. They're acting under Keep the Peace to support the Department of Private Industries, but we can't identify where they get the powers from to force entry onto these properties and empower the National Fire Ant Eradication Program not to consider reasonable excuse or go through a judicial system when there's a dispute in place. So these issues, I guess it's like any issue, and that's what they rely on, I suppose, is the fact that these legal issues are complicated and cost money, and it makes it very difficult for individuals to initiate change on their behalf if they just continue forward and march over all our rights. But anyway, we're pushing on with that issue, and if you want to support, reach out. Any bit of support anyone can give is much appreciated. But other initiatives with the hot water system and the organic stuff is also any assistance on them is also initiatives. There's a lot of money being tied up into them. Them latest updates on that machine at 10k, we should make it much more efficient in regards to the amount of land you can do per shift. You have 2 operators, so and that will be a world first when that gets retrofitted out, hopefully next week. So there is a lot going on in the campaign, a lot of videos getting made, and a lot of people in the background assisting, and I'd like to thank everybody that has been helping in this campaign and everyone that has supported me. I have had some financial assistance through membership of Australian Advocacy Group. We have had assistance through people providing contracts with services in regards to fire ant treatment with the hot water machine, including the Southern Cross University. I'd like to thank them for their assistance in getting the pilot underway. I feel that's probably the biggest momentum shifter in the campaign to date, but also a lot of other volunteers doing a lot of the social media posts and a lot of the letter writings and community building activities that get place. So there's a lot of people in the background trying to help, and sometimes it's easy just to say that it's just me at the front line here, but I'm just the face and the efforts of thousands of people in behind me. So currently we've got a state, the clerk, I couldn't find any members to table it for me, but the clerk tabled a Queensland state petition. It's up there now. I'd like all Queenslanders to support it. We sent to the clerk for the federal and the Senate petitions. Hopefully we can get that up soon. It's been a couple of weeks. They got back to me apologising for the time it's taken, but they're going to try and look at it and get back to me. So So that should be up and going soon. And yeah, so that's basically a bit of an update. So, but if you've got a community group, we've got the Truth Tour, we're going to talk about it. If anyone wants to do some art collecting, we've got a beautiful art done up on a canvas, 50 centimetre by 50 centimetre stretch canvas oil painting of the two calves over the rainbow, Utah and Victor, Genesis, Novell, Utah and Victor. So that's for sale, and I dare say that's going to be a bit of a collector's item in time to come. We're taking offers over $1,200 for that, and hopefully we can find a buyer that's passionate about the cause enough and generous enough to see that value in the painting and help the campaign moving forward. So if anyone's got any other fund raising opportunities to please reach out, and anyone that wants to get involved also please reach out. At the end of the day, we're just looking to put pressure on the Department of Primary Industries, both in the federal and the state, to stop this bullying behaviour that they're doing and come up with an approach to this fire ants that's suitable for all stakeholders, not just a few. And a chemical only approach is not helping that people that don't want to be exposed to toxic chemicals and that have got sensitivities and medical certificates in regards to rashes, respiratory problems, skin problems, reactions, and that sort of stuff to these things, not to mention the non-target species effect that the National Fire Ant Eradication Program continues to deny. And interestingly, I'll just bring to the awareness, 12 months these guys have been misrepresenting the treatment as being organic. They misrepresented that for 12 months and then finally made an admission on it that it is not. So we don't want this same sort of stuff to happen, but they've been often quoted as saying there are no adverse effects in regards to non-target species. This is not true. It's been proven not to be true. They have modified their language a little bit, but they continue to say that it's minimal. But the effects of these chemicals are very dependent on the susceptibility and the environment in which, and the conditions in which these chemicals are dispensed, and the individually circumstances. And having a broad scale approach to everybody without considering individual circumstances, environments and lands is reckless at best, certainly irresponsible, and is causing the community harm. So we've got to try and get away from that, guys, and just have a more targeted approach, and that's what this is all about. But anyway, guys, that's me today. I'm enjoying myself out in the time, so I hope you're doing what you need to do to get good outcomes in your life. Reach out if you're feeling, a little bit overwhelmed. We've got some strategies in place to try and center you and try to keep going. But the best thing is, I suppose, remember your diet and exercise, your social connections, and get out of your house every now and again, and just work out your circle of influence and just do what you can control. And what's out of your control, you've got to let go. And that's what I'm trying to do. But moving forward, guys, today is another day. Appreciation is a big part of creating better outcomes in our lives. So appreciating the fact that we are still alive, still breathing, and hopefully our lives can create better outcomes for ourselves and our families, and the future generations for many to come. Thanks. Have a good day. See you. Bye.